What's happening? What's happening? Victor's here? Man, that was the craziest Marfoogle show I've seen in quite some time. Some of the regulars were calling in, and then all of a sudden, yeah, this full on legit whistleblower lady called in that worked for, or her boyfriend worked for some like wire manufacturing company. I mean, maybe some of you already saw this, but live. But for the people that didn't, like, yeah, this lady called in to the show and was like, yeah, we got a bunch of wires here. Right. So, I mean, I had some other stuff planned, right? But definitely want to talk about that because it's going down here in Los Angeles as well. They're obviously getting ready for something, and sometimes it feels like, oh, it's fun and games. It's like YouTube, find the 5G tower, just see what's going on, but it really is all for a reason. It's got to be all for a purpose, and it's just so much money, it's so much effort. All these contractors, the people putting up the towers, like, they can't talk, they can't say anything, but they know what's going on, and I think a lot of people know what's going on, but it really is sort of shrouded in secrecy. But I wonder when it's going to get out, because I mean, it has to at some point, right? Or is it going to be something that we don't really notice? Like that used to be the question. Doesn't seem like it anymore, though. Seems like there really is going to be some very dramatic event that happens. I mean, how do you blow out all of the power lines? If they're getting ready to rebuild stuff, if they're really going to blow the whole system, they would want to rebuild sort of the key stuff really quickly, and then I guess you would want to have all that stuff ready, like ready to go, ready to install, because it would take a fair amount of time to get that all ready. Yeah, no, and as always, these are just pictures of the day. It was very, very overcast here in Los Angeles, cold. You can see this kind of, I don't know, this blurriness. It's hard to explain. Not really cloud, not really smog. And I was thinking about this today, why they call it overcast. Why, since everything is magic these days, it's overcast. Get another spell, right? Sort of changes the day. But if this lady was talking about Ohio, in a rural place, LA is a different kind of place. The 5G work has been going on for quite some time. There's just a lot of ground to cover, a lot of streets. It's a big city, and it all needs coverage. And so from like the windy roads to all the way to downtown, it doesn't really matter where. It's a sprawling place, but everything's basically already covered at this point. It's ready for something. This is live right now. What's up, guys? I know it's not my real voice. At least I don't think so. Where is that thing? Oh yeah, filters. Wish I could automate this. I can't figure out how to automate this. Like, is this my real voice? Maybe this is my real voice. Maybe it's over here.
maybe I'm just gonna keep changing it like all the time. I just, I definitely like. I want you guys to be able to understand me.
But at the same time, like, I can't. I just can't. I wouldn't feel comfortable saying
The things.
I wouldn't feel comfortable saying the things that I want to say on this channel if I was using my normal voice, because, right? I mean, obviously the NSA, like, whoever, you guys all know that, like, I'm doing this because I have all my iDevices everywhere. Like, you're obviously collecting this data. You can obviously hear this. And, like, what's up, NSA? I'm more worried about, protecting my career, basically, my sanity here in my life that I have here, because, I want to be able to keep doing this. And if I don't do that, yeah, it could make some serious trouble for me, basically. I'm not like, I don't want to go into too much detail, like, but I just really can't, I can't, have this come back to haunt me, basically. So hence the voice changer. And yeah, people keep asking. I'll keep talking about it. Yeah, I just, I'm in this entertainment field, and to say the things that I want to say here, yeah, I would be crucified, basically. And if it ever came back, well, I mean, I'm still taking a risk, but life is short. So yeah, weather. It was an overcast, a very overcasty sort of day here in LA. And, I feel like I should keep a calendar or something. I'm just trying to keep, take my own actual observations and track day to day what's actually going on up above us, be it trails, be it this sort of blankety kind of thing. It's like impermeable. You really couldn't see through it at all. Or whatever else, and just sort of track the changes, because, it's one thing to just get a picture, but it's another thing to, really try to understand, like, what's the life cycle, what's the evolution of what's going on in our skies. And not necessarily, although the models are good, not necessarily just from a radar or whatever. Trying to do time lapses. I don't know. All this is really time consuming, and, I don't know. But I still feel like talking about it. You know what I mean? It's a weird time to come to this point where this is possibly the only time in the day where I'm going to speak my mind, like, out loud. And it's almost kind of scary, because it's been a really long time. Everything is hushed up, everything, you got to censor yourself. Everything is double checked and second guessed. Oh, what's that? How is this going to be perceived by this party? This friend, that person, they're going to talk, et cetera, et cetera. It depends on what kind of circles you operate in, but I just feel like something shifted. Something really did change sometime before the election, 2016. And things are just different now. And I don't know if they're ever going to be the same. And I don't know if all this stuff is interlinked, connected. Maybe. If you ever are in LA, you're probably going to drive on this freeway. And there you see the world famous Capitol Records with, I guess, what looks like some Antiquitech here on the top. Very interesting building. But right next to it on this storage building is just probably, I don't know, one of the most insane arrays that I know about. Why are there this many? I can't even ever count them, even though there's like traffic all the time here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And that's like different. They're all different models and different sizes. And I mean, I'm trying to build an idea because, I mean, I guess you got to picture the city after. It's so hard to connect all these wires because, you picture some cataclysm. Isn't that going to ruin all this 5G infrastructure that they've put in? Like, if the whole city gets covered in a giant tsunami or gets earthquaked, like, isn't this all going to be wasted time and effort? Like, if the grid goes down, what's going to power the 5G? I mean, it's just it is so hard to get to the bottom of anything these days. But I can take a picture of what I guess is considered real life and show you those images. And this is what is out there in the physical world. And you see this a lot. You see these a lot also. These poles that are like they're set up, but they don't have the small cell installed yet. You see this a lot. But I mean, here's a clearer picture. This, why so many? It feels like a checkpoint or something, right? I mean, because maybe the freeway is still going to be intact. It just sort of feels like a checkpoint. And that's another thing that I wanted to get into because, it really is. It's a huge city, and all over the city they've been getting ready for whatever's going on, and just like that lady on Marfoogle was talking about, they're always doing it late at night. Like it is like subcontractors of subcontractors, and yeah, no, dude, it definitely is a scary building, and it's not. I mean, that's definitely the most extreme one I think I know. But anybody that drives in LA and like drives on the freeway drives past all of these. Like they're there. I just don't know. I don't know who's actually looking out for them and seeing them, but they're definitely there. And a lot of them. I mean, you just question like, how long has that thing been there? This is not a great picture. I'm building up my collection, but this is another one. Just visible from the freeway where it's just a gigantic array, and it seems like whatever these companies, they put up these poles and it's like they rent them basically. So that's at least a logical explanation. They're different companies, and sometimes they put a microwave on the top, but you just see a lot more of these, and this is a very blatant giant tower thing, but you see a lot more of all of these instruments being hidden on buildings and just trying to get tucked away. Like you don't really see them. So yeah, no, driving back late at night, and this is like a completely regular occurrence. How do you explain it? They seem to be shutting down on and off ramps like one by one all throughout the city, and doing construction, and I mean you're always driving past. You get stuck in the traffic. You're driving past it, but you don't really see what's going on. And again, with all the how well is this thought out kind of stuff, like they're all contractors that nobody really needs to know what they're actually working on. Like I was talking to a guy from Edison, and that was the whole point. Like they have such a gigantic budget and so many things to do that they like nobody even talks to each other. They just do jobs and then just leave, and like they don't even know. They were saying they'll like install a pole and then have another team come and tear it out because like the funds got appropriated, but then the other project also got appropriated, and right, that was like how it had to go. They put in the pole and then they tore it out, and so yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a fair amount of like stupidity involved as well, but there's obviously yeah, these workers don't need to know what's going on. There's obviously something huge going on. It is hard to say what. It really is. But something about the freeway. Going through the on ramps and the off ramps. Maybe installing something in them, some sort of sensors. Maybe something benign. Doing parking, like in neighborhoods as well. And yeah, it really doesn't matter. This is in a bigger part of town. Doesn't matter where you go. This is happening all over the city, and I would just assume that that's what's happening all over the place. And the same as anybody that's looking up in the sky. It's hard to track. What's normal, what's not normal, but you definitely do see a lot of helicopters flying by like that. It's extremely regular now, and it always seems like they're really like hurrying someplace, like they're headed someplace. I mean, I guess if you had a helicopter, you'd be on your way, but it wasn't like a black helicopter, but definitely still a helicopter. Anyways, yeah, that's what's going on here in LA. Late night installs. It's been going on for months now at this point. Strengthening the grid, installing whatever, mostly small cells. And yeah, it could have something to do with the pole shift, and yeah, basically either they would set off an EMP and not tell anybody and then have everything go down, or basically this whole crazy thing with the magnetosphere getting weakened and us getting hit by a solar flare, and then that knocking out the whole grid. And there's definitely a good chance that they know exactly when it's coming, that like to the minute, and they're not going to tell anybody because everybody would freak the fuck out. And I guess we don't want that. All right, I'm gonna get into flip it here, and get into entertainment. And it seems like the news, like, it's really important. It is obviously important. You gotta listen to the news. You gotta track what's going on. Although probably say a fair amount of it is as scripted as these television shows. So if you're looking for truth in the news, why not look for truth right here on TV? And especially, it's good to look at old shows, look at patterns and stuff, but I think there's something to be said for keeping your finger on the pulse, like in the moment, because at least from what I've read and learned, like this shit is planned out like to the T. And when certain themes are showing, certain, ideas need to get spread at certain times, and it basically all syncs up. And I don't know, my mind is still continuously blown by this gematria guy that was just explaining how all of sports is fixed, the whole thing, and just showed word for word basically how Tiger Woods was going to win the Masters, and how it was mega obvious if you use some gematria, like mega obvious. And I basically can believe it. Why not? It's too easy. It's like in Back to the Future, whatever. So yeah, this is right. Trying to track a couple shows. This is the 100, where they're on a new planet, and every time somebody goes to a different planet in a TV show, there's like an angle there for what's going on Earth, basically, or maybe because that's basically what they could do. They could tell you something straight up, like true, but since it's in a TV show, nobody would believe you or anybody that thought it was real, because you'd be like, nah, you just saw that on the 100. Like, there's no way that the Earth is a moon. Like, we learned that super early on, that the Earth is not a moon. But yeah, right. I mean, I already talked about this kind of thing because this is the second episode. Um, and I just wanted to get a little deeper here because, right, the whole thing is the symbolism. It's so hard to explain any of this because you have to like say so many things at once. Like, right, if you know the basic hexagon ideas, hexagons, they're everywhere because they put a spell on you. They entrap you. They're beautiful too. This is a very special hexagon, I would say. And I was gonna try and pull up the scene if they'll let me. Wait, I'm gonna turn this off because I'm still trying to figure out. They'll stop the stream right away if I play too much TV. Basically, like that is the very last thing that they want.
To figure out how to find grace, or we lose everyone. We'll go see what the satellites can do. Maybe we're due for a miracle.
Yeah, these are a little out of order. Yeah, I was totally watching Marf's show, and then I did not prepare this. As from another show that I'm tracking, The Flash, and there's hexagons all over that show. It's the same night, you know. And like, yeah, when I started seeing this stuff, when you watch channels like Enter the Stars or Call for Uprising is a little angry, but yeah, a lot of guys that do decodings, but yeah, I just haven't heard him talk much about this aspect of it, the true like symbolic power that is just it's ever present. It is all permeating.
To think how to find grace.
That's in the background. I'm gonna get more into that, but
We'll go see what the satellites can do.
we're gonna go. That's why I pulled this clip. We're gonna go see what the satellites can do. Like they're looking for somebody in that clip, and they're looking for somebody in that clip, and basically they just make this low-key mention of satellites. Like let's get these satellites, because that's a whole nother, you know, aspect of this to sort of plant ideas and make things really normal. So when you think about it in your real life, you're like, yeah, no, it's chill. Like there's satellites everywhere that watch our every move, and they need it for the bad guys. Like that's a legit reason, because you know, this really evil guy in this show with the hexagons, he needs to get caught. So right, activate those keyhole satellites that you know, observe stuff in real time, because we need them for this bad guy. And I mean, they've been pushing that message for a really long time already, so it's not really anything new. But I don't know. I just like to call attention to the fact that like none of this ever stopped. Like it's you gotta think of more words. Like it really is. It's ever present. These symbols, these ideas, these little hints that like they really just they shape your consciousness. And I'm not sure if like anybody's aware. I'm not sure if I'm even aware of how deep it goes, how much this kind of stuff has shaped how I think and feel. A lot. Yeah, I don't know. I should go through the pictures first. This is another image from the 100, because another big thing in media is the kids, right? And I've been hearing that a bunch in like the mud flood circles. Hopefully you guys know and look into some mud flood stuff, because that seems to be the new trend. And yeah, there was a theory that, yeah, something really, really crazy happened. Who knows, 1812, around that time, and that everything got repopulated. I mean, at least I've heard this theory, that everything got repopulated with children. That they just put the kids out all over the world in different places and just like let them figure it out. And that's why there's like no actual memories or anything that happened before that, because I don't know, did the Pied Piper like float away all the children? No, I mean the opposite, the adults. I mean, there's just so many shows about this, like, you know, people, the leftovers, some portion of the population just like up and disappearing right away, and leaving the others, the survivors, to just like figure it out. And you know, there's a chance that there's full on societal collapse at that point. Children, yeah, hexagons. This is more of the soccer ball thing. I mean, I would definitely go check out some Enter the Stars Reloaded, but this has to do with the adrenochrome molecule, and yeah, it just so happens to be the shape of the cryo bio monster sphere thing that, like, I gotta find that clip. It's basically this device that's going to alter the weather, which is like, right? What else do we talk about around here? This is this soccer ball adrenochrome based magic blue box thing that is going to, you know, fix the weather, but it could be used for evil, right? And that's what this lady does. She like puts a neurotoxin in it instead of it being the good stuff, right? Because I guess it can make good weather, and you know, I don't know how much does that make you think of 5G? It's like all those things, and here it is like a like objectified in this show. This is from The Flash. This is last night. Is the point, like, right? Not a couple weeks ago. This is what was flowing over millions of eyeballs just last night, and that's what I try to do. I try to at least catch a little something. Because the other trippy thing is that they'll repeat symbols and other ideas, you know, in different shows, sometimes on the same day, and then also sometimes on different days. And yeah, you really have to watch too much TV to start to notice these things. But then, I mean, once you do, it's hard to stop noticing them. And it's the same symbolism, I guess, that you see all over the ancient stuff. It really is a lot of this like Gnostic stuff, which you definitely really need to look into as well. You know, like just go read Secret Teachings of All Ages. It's only like 1,000 pages or something. But then I guess you'd have a better idea. And you know, there's just so much to learn. I think that's why we're all just sort of clawing at the surface, is because yeah, just the knowledge base it seems to be huge of these people, whoever's running the show. It's just a lot of symbolism and a lot of different dot connecting. Right, here's your favorite hero, and just right while we're looking for symbols, the lightning bolt, his emblem that related to the ear, same emblem. Right? What's the circle? What's the lightning bolt? These are all, it's just so powerful. I mean, it's superhero emblems, you know. I don't know if I have a huge thesis on that right now at this very second, but important to note, right? The circle, the colors, all those kind of things. All of the stuff is there for a reason. So, right, that was, I really am doing this all out of order, but maybe that's fake truth style. This is the hexagon scene, right? They're under duress. Somebody's going to get shot. There's being threatening at gunpoint. Like, you know, every single television scene, like, show in the world has this scene over and over and over again where, you know, person getting threatened. Bad things about to happen. Shot. And then that's when the hexagon comes in. This hero comes in.
See?
And she's the one that like saved everybody. She dropped in through the containing hexagon to save everybody. Or at least, I don't know, I guess shoot the bad guy or something. Where is it? right? And it really just pans up there for like 1 second. You barely even notice I took that still, so we could really take a look. But it's like they only show it for a second, but they zoom all the way up to the hexagon. It's like I don't know. They had to work that out basically, and that an extra shot. Who has a hexagon ceiling panel? Like somebody had to build that. And that's I mean, I don't know any set designers, but like, are they constantly getting this like, nah, bro, it's gotta be a hexagon. But like, why? You know, or maybe that's just like set designer 101, like, bro, get the symbols out. Because this, I mean, it really doesn't matter what show. Maybe this is just, you know, innocuous film theory, but the same idea that I keep talking about of the parallel structure, the framing, because this is the lady that you're supposed to empathize with, right? In that moment, you really feel for, and there's a bunch of other people in the scene, but that's whose mind you end up getting into. And as soon as you, I mean, not to say that it's dangerous, but as soon as you crawl into somebody else's mind, like, you just got to be on the lookout. Like that's when the real easy convincing comes in. Like, it's time. It's time to get convinced that like this is how sane people think. This is what a sane person would do in this given situation. And I'm sure they crunched the numbers then that 9 times out of 10, like that's what people end up doing in X situation, because, well, damn, they saw it fucking thousands of times over and over again. What do you think's gonna happen? It's pretty obvious. Right? I guess more of a circle than a hexagon, or a blurry hexagon. I mean, this show is really just slathered in it. It really is. But I want to keep moving along because I got to get some sleep myself. You know, colors, symbols. There's so much to talk about in every single frame. Why is this why all the downward facing triangles on the feminine heroine, daughter figure as the Flash comes to rescue? Why are these downward facing lines? Weren't we just talking about that on Game of Thrones? With the downward facing shirt lines, the necklace, this is like a mind control device using this downward facing triangle. Same shapes over and over again. Why are all these portals always octagons? Why is there an octagon above the entrance to Congress? Find a picture. It's an octagon. Why are stop signs octagons? It's like basic stuff, but I think that's what this time calls for, is like taking the basic stuff that like we really just honestly forgot because we are so distracted. Like, dude, remember that this stuff is like, it's magic. Don't underestimate it.
I get terrible reception.
And yet they built a cell phone tower less than a mile away.
Hasn't made.
They built a cell phone tower less than a mile away. Like, it's no big deal. That's fine. That's what they do. They build cell phone towers less than a mile away from you because it's chill. Don't like, you got reception. I don't buy your denial.
A few of the weirder ones are hard to classify, so I created a new taxonomic category. Waiwu. Waiwu? Freaks in Chinese, well, Mandarin to be exact. One of them.
Wait, we're in the future. Why did you just make that Chinese reference? It was like oddly specific. Waiwu, like, why do you know? You're on this like alien planet. Why do you know Chinese and your mom doesn't? Like, what's up with the China plug?
Man has cryoatomizer originally developed it to combat land fires caused by drought, so the cryoatomizer can disperse cold air particles into the atmosphere that triggers rainfall. However,
Triggers rainfall. Interesting. I thought that kind of thing wasn't real. Well, yeah, I guess it isn't because it's on the Flash. That's some made-up fantasy nonsense that you can alter the weather. Wait, did you see that on the Flash? The adrenochrome soccer ball that can alter the weather. The Lost Children. Are we the Lost Children? See Maze Runner? All right.
I think I'm gonna get out of here. Nah, probably.
I'm gonna go to sleep.
But well,
I'll see you tomorrow.